Welcome to another episode of AI Product Builders. AI Product Builders is a weekly podcast that brings together the brightest minds in the AI industry. Each episode explores the challenges and triumphs of building and scaling AI products, providing our audience with practical advice and inspiring stories from successful founders and business leaders.
Welcome to AI Product Builders. Today, we are especially excited to welcome Nirali Zaveri, CEO and co founder of Friz, an innovative platform transforming the way D2C brands engage with social media. Friz is a co pilot for social media engagement management. At Friz, Nirali is pioneering a new approach to social media managing, harnessing the power of AI to automate content creation, scheduling, and analytics, making it easier for brands across various sectors to maximize their online presence. Nirali, welcome to AI Product Builders. It's pleasure having you.
Hi, Sri Lakshmi. Thank you so much for having me. Really excited to be chatting with you today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Nirali, could you give us a brief introduction about yourself and Frizz?
Sure. So I am the co-founder and CEO of Friz, and at Friz we're building an AI social media manager. Our aim is to enable marketing teams to really replace a lot of their traditional workflows by using an AI tool that's entirely built with their jobs in mind.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of myself, I actually started my career in payments, and prior to this was building a fintech, but really fell in love with the world of startups. Since I started building a company of my own in 2020. And
Mm-hmm.
since then have just embedded myself into different pain points that founders feel, learned more about investing, about building products, marketing, so on and so forth, and kind of continued my founder journey.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting, right? From fintech to social media management. Like when I looked into internet, Frizz was basically a Singapore-based fintech startup before, and now it is a AI social media management. Like, how did the change happen?
Yeah. So initially, as well, we were building a neobank for freelancers and creatives. So we
Mm-hmm.
were always in touch with the creative side of things, with understanding workflows and the future of human, I would say, workflows, right, or the workforce in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um, since our time building our fintech, we kind of, my co-founder and I ran across a lot of different interesting issues, a lot of different challenges as founders ourselves, and
Mm-hmm.
became really mindful of some of the pain points that brand owners, CMOs, founders have. So our experience being founders was the inspiration behind the B2B SaaS that we're building right now.
Mm-hmm.
But long story short, our fintech product didn't really work very well because it was really difficult to scale from an operational perspective. So, since we had money in the bank and we felt like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, there are so many skill sets that we have to offer as product
Mm-hmm.
builders, we decided to pivot into a pain point that we had ourselves, and a problem that we wanted to solve for.
Got it. But who is your ideal customer right now?
Right. So our ideal customers are direct to consumer brand owners,
Mm-hmm.
or their marketing teams, and also social media agencies that help direct to consumer brands.
Got it. Makes sense. So what challenges did you see in the market that the brands face in social media management, and how is Fritz addressing those challenges?
Right. So we typically realize that a lot of direct to consumer brands are spending a lot of time and effort maintaining their social media channels, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Many of them also maintain things like Pinterest, and through all of that effort and time they were spending, I felt like many of the founders and brands we spoke to didn't have a clear reason why they were
Mm-hmm.
posting the content they were posting. They
Mm-hmm.
also found it really difficult to justify the high amount of, I guess, investment that was going on, or
Yeah.
OPEX that was going into
Mm-hmm.
maintaining the social media, mainly because it wasn't very clear how much it led to conversions, so on and so forth. So, what we felt was that a data based approach was lacking
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the
Mm-hmm.
content that was created,
Mm-hmm.
and thought that the use case is great for AI content generation, mainly because it's, what we do is data driven. And the
Yeah.
second feeling we had also was that there's just a lot of very repetitive tasks that can be completely automated in the entire workflow,
Mm-hmm.
saving brands time and money, and freeing up their marketing teams to do more high ROI activities, which they can't do as much of, which is like
Yeah.
maybe physical events, collaborations, partnerships, talking to customers more often. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we come from this from or the problems that direct to consumer brands face are a mix of the lack of analytics and data driven insights when it comes to creating posts for social media or ads, and the
Mm-hmm.
second piece is efficiency gains which they haven't tapped into.
Got it. So regarding you mentioned it's a AI social media management, right? How does Frizz integrate? What kind of AI technologies do you use? What kind of features do you provide to, your customers?
Right. So, what we've realized is there's a lot of disjointed marketing SaaS in the market when it comes to content creation. So, there might be tools that allow you to only design posts. There might be tools
Yes.
that allow you to only schedule posts. And then there's a separate suite of analytics tools. And then marketing managers might be using something completely different to actually brainstorm ideas and manage their whole calendar and their tasks. What we realized was that even though this whole workflow was interconnected, there wasn't a
Mm-hmm.
single tool in the market that can solve all of this end to end. And so we built a tool. So our key features that we focus on is brainstorming content, then using
Mm-hmm.
our canvas to edit and modify the content.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say content, I mean visuals as well as captions. So not just
Got it.
any one aspect. The third thing is actually scheduling the content. So we enable
Mm-hmm.
brands to connect their social media accounts and then
Mm-hmm.
manage their entire calendar from our platform. And then the
Mm-hmm.
last piece is closing everything, closing the loop by looking at analytics, making sure that the content that you've posted is giving you the engagement and the conversions that you want, and you derive the right insights in the future as you continue to automate your content creation.
Got it. So if I have to ask, how many customers are under your belt right now?
Right. So at the moment, again, our focus has just been on making sure we
Uh-huh.
provide high value to customers. So
Yes.
we have 40 customers at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but then we're looking at really ambitious targets of reaching a
Yes.
thousand users, a thousand paying users by June this year.
Got it. So, what's the acquisition strategy?
So a lot of different channels have worked really well for us, but we're also still in the process of experimenting. It's early days. So we had our product hunt launch just in January this year.
Mm-hmm.
That has been really good in terms of getting a lot of insightful products. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
insightful customers onto our platform. I've had lots of
Mm-hmm.
different demo calls and chats with them as well,
Mm-hmm.
with brand owners as well as social media agency owners.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely having some of these launches and utilizing these tools is great in terms of getting your early users. In terms of
Mm-hmm.
other channels that we're exploring, we're very keen to partner up with different agencies that have
Mm-hmm.
many customers and brands under their belt, get
Mm-hmm.
feedback from them, kind of grow the product from there. Social
Mm-hmm.
media is a big pull for us as well, and
Mm-hmm.
leveraging influencers and creators in the space who really kind of generate a lot of opinion around SaaS tools, around marketing tech. I think those have worked well for us as well. And then, other
Yeah.
than that, we are also looking at creating useful content when it comes to our blogs and in SEO as well. So, at the moment, it's mostly unpaid, like a marketing strategy that is more focused on organic growth and
Again, yeah.
conversion. But over time, as we really crack our product onboarding, make sure we have our retention also, in the place where we want it to be, we can double down and start spending on ad spend as well.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you've been iterating on user feedback. I
Mhm.
understand, especially during the early days, user feedback is very critical. So, how has your product evolved over time, and what kind of user feedback, in what format was effective for you in your case?
Right. So again, still in the process of experimenting the best way
Mm-hmm.
to chat with users. I mean, we were in a private beta with a handful of customers as we
Mm-hmm.
were building out the whole tool. So we got a lot of feedback from them in terms of their workflows, in terms of their expectations with the editor, with the
Mm-hmm.
scheduler, with analytics, etc. So the product was was built with customers and their experience in mind. I've heard from a lot of our users that they really enjoy the UX of our product compared to
Yeah.
other tools in the market. And then that's, I think it's great that that already reflects. In terms
Mm-hmm.
of the current feedback that we're working on, we always get feedback to add more tools to our platform. So right now we support the Meta suite of Facebook and Instagram. People
Mm-hmm.
want us to add on LinkedIn. They want us
Yeah.
to add on TikTok. They want us to add on Pinterest. So that's definitely in the pipeline. And then we also have feedback in terms of the 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 brand itself, and how a marketing person likes to look at the brand guidelines. So providing them with the ability to kind of really replicate their brand voice
Mm-hmm.
is something that we're working on as well at the moment.
Yeah, so these D2C brands, right? The vary in size. Like, what kind of companies are you looking at? Like, are
Mhm.
they really big companies, small, or medium?
At the moment, it's companies with about 20 to 50 employees. Typically, they're selling through Shopify, Instagram. And these are not super large companies, but they could have about, you know, 10 to 100 products that they're selling.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So you also touched upon, pricing. So how do you come up with your pricing strategy? Like, how did you determine the right pricing model for your AI services? Because with AI, it's more about computing cost. So how do you decide on that?
Fair enough. So we did a analysis of typically how many requests with image generation as well as content
Mm-hmm.
generation, so caption generation
Yes.
that is required, on average for brands, and based on that came up with a rough upper bound in terms of how much we could offer to customers. So there's this, that's like, I think, a cost plus pricing
Yes.
in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
That was one approach, but the other approaches that we looked at was also just testing out a bunch of different messaging with users in our wait list and looking at what they responded to the most. At the
Mm-hmm.
moment, again, this is not set in stone, but what we've learned is that giving people the ability to choose a base plan that is fairly comprehensive, and then
Yeah.
providing the option of adding on different packages for add-ons, etc., depending on their specific kind of use case, has worked well for us. But we could always go back to the drawing board, experiment with different numbers, and I think it's super important to have a pricing software or a tool that allows you to be really agile in this sense as well.
Yeah. So I personally worked for a social media company previously, and the biggest challenge there was, we did provide a lot of analytics to consumers, to these brands, but they were not okay with that. They did see the analytics, but they're like, "What's next? What do we do? Now, how do we go next? How do we increase our impressions?" So those were the suggestions they were more looking into. So how is Frizz helping in addressing those kind of challenges?
I think that's really useful. Or that's something that we've also noticed from our customers.
Mm-hmm.
We're building out insights that'll allow brands to see, okay, a certain type of content is performing much better than other types of content on their platform. Using maybe certain backgrounds and colors is leading to more engagement than
Mm-hmm.
others. Certain timings of posting content are better than other timings, etc. So we want to, as we collect more data on the brand, be able to also provide better insights to brands. In addition to this, we also leverage on benchmarking from competitors to be able to create, competitors of the brand that we onboard, to be able to create more industry-wide insights, etc. So, I mean, these are features that we're working on at the moment, but again, completely understand how important it is for brands to have this, these insights as they plan their, future posts and ads as well.
Exactly. They always question this, what is the ROI? I'm spending this much money, and where is it going? How do I, get the ROI? That was their major question. So so for your analytics too, like what kind of analytics are you showing? What has been proven helpful to customers, and what has been not so helpful?
Yeah. So at the moment, we're showing them data so they can have a real time data pool from different platforms that they've connected to Frizz. The benefits are again being able to see exactly where
Yeah.
how your followership is growing on a day to day
Mm-hmm.
basis, how your reach is growing, how your engagement has been like, what is the virality coefficient that you've had so
Yeah.
far. The thing is that customers that consistently post have seen these numbers going up and
Good.
improving, which I
Yeah.
think is what's really encouraging. They can also see a post by post breakdown on how every single post, along with the captions, has done
Mm-hmm.
on in terms of impressions and reach as well. So that's also, I think, given made it really easy even for a CMO that's managing a brand to provide an update to their manager,
Mm-hmm.
whenever they need it using the tool. But yes, we have had suggestions that people want to have exactly insights that the brand has learned in a specific month,
Mm-hmm.
come up so that they can share these more easily with their teams.
Yeah. So with AI, there's a lot of trust issues as well, right? How do you convince your customer that, this content what AI is creating for you is something you can trust, is something you can generate revenue out of it? Like, how do you, have this, make your users trust your models?
Yeah, so far our users have been quite open to using AI in their workflows.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that we do is that we actually don't require the user to upload a lot of their proprietary data onto the platform,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that, when a user signs up, all they have to give us is their industry, a one liner about their product. They upload their logo and, decide what the brand colors are, as well as what their typography is. That is the onboarding. Based on this, we come up with a marketing strategy for the brand, and it is this
Mm-hmm.
marketing strategy that is used every time we are providing suggestions for content, or for ads, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the data that we're using, we're not feeding any of their brand's proprietary data, or even analytics actually at the moment, into any models. What we're providing feedback on is just based on general industry benchmarks.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, we haven't felt like there's any privacy concerns from our customers. But I think going forward, definitely as the product grows as well, we'd be, and as we start onboarding larger customers, we also looking to provide
Mm-hmm.
more enterprise related model training,
Yeah.
that is siloed off for
Yeah.
certain, for enterprises, and has all the right compliance and requirements as well.
Got it. So, where do you see this role of AI in marketing and social media management heading in next 5 years?
Sure. I think that every single team is going to be AI assisted,
Yeah.
and that is in the interest of social media managers everywhere, mainly because, they'd rather be focused on more high ROI activities,
Mm-hmm.
like actually talking to customers, responding to customers directly, making sure they are hosting more in person events, and making sure that they are doing higher interaction, higher touch point kind of content as well, whether it's lives on social media, or they're shooting more video content, etc. So I think that we're actually taking away a lot of the boring, tedious parts of content creation and ads. And we hope that that really just makes the output of marketing a lot better.
Got
In
it.
terms of also where AI is within the industry, I think that at the moment what we have are lots of disjointed tools,
Mhm.
but in the future we'll see that
Yeah.
there'll be a lot of ease of automating entire end-to-end workflows, so that a typical person in the marketing industry doesn't have to like keep jumping between 5 to 6 tools to get their work done.
Yeah, I know. I keep paying to so many tools right now, especially AI tools, and they're expensive. Yeah. I want to ask I ask this every entrepreneur, but you're a YC alumni. Like, what targeted advice would you give to us aspiring entrepreneurs looking to apply and get accepted for YC? Like, are there specific elements in your application process that you believe are particularly been effective?
I think with as with any other early stage investment, um, accelerators generally look at what is your ability to have unique customer insights.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that a lot of first time founders or early founders in the journey kind of forget. So I think being super focused on customers is more important than the product. It's more important than
Yeah.
how you're hiring. It's more important than anything else actually. So if there's something unique that you have identified about your users, which incumbents don't understand yet or haven't implemented for whatever reason, I think that like being able to showcase that in a convincing manner in your pitch, in your application to YC, I think that's the best kind of traction that you could show.
Got it. That's a very insightful advice. Before you go, I want to end this session with a rapid fire round. I'm gonna
Sure.
ask you a couple of questions. What's your favorite AI book or resource?
So I don't have any one single resource, but I'm always in, on Hacker News, staying updated
Mm-hmm.
with the new tools that are being launched, and the
Yeah,
opinions of people using those tools.
got it. So, what is one AI tool that you can't live without right now?
I am really enjoying all the updates on ChatGPT. The fact that now you can summon different AI
Yes.
agents onto the platform, that's been
Yeah.
very exciting to use. But
Mm,
yeah, I would like to see something that has more continuity in terms of being able to help brands. Yeah.
got it. So, what is the biggest misconception about AI?
I think the biggest misconception is that AI cannot be creative, and that you can just at maximum have it write some code for you. The fact that you can't hand over tasks in design, etc., to AI is something that I think is very antiquated. And then
Yes.
as we start building along specific workflows, and making it harder to decipher what has been human generated and what is AI generated, I think we'll definitely get there in the next few months, if not, in a few years.
Yes, definitely. I completely agree with that. So I think that's it for today. Nirali, thank you for joining us today and sharing wonderful insights about you and Friz. Um, yes, for anyone watching this episode, please do check out Friz. Anyone who wants to manage their social media brands, especially D2C brands, please do reach out to Friz. Yeah, thank you for joining us today, Nirali.
Awesome. Thank you for your time. Pleasure being here.